Anyway, you will be seeing a lot of this org board, and I'm really pointing out to you about this that there is something about it to understand. There's a great deal about it to understand. And the first is that the org board does not change regardless of the size of the organization. It may get longer at the bottom, but it doesn't change in its significant characteristics, departments, divisions, or anything else. They remain constant. And it doesn't matter if it's a Class 0 org consisting of 3 guys trying to lift their heads up off the pavement as an organization, or an organization of 200,000 staff members. It would be the same org board. Now, I know that startles you, but I almost told you the real figure, 2 billion. This board has a lot of back history, and it is a refined board, and I may as well tell you the truth here amongst us girls. This is a refined board that I spoke to you about in an earlier lecture of an old galactic civilization. And you say, what's that doing amongst us? Well, we applied Scientology to it and found out why the civilization eventually failed. They lacked a couple of departments, and that was enough to mess it all up. And they only lasted 80 trillion. We'd be going a lot longer than that. So we want to get something substantial. We don't want these temporary fly-by-night affairs, you know. Matter of fact, practically every government of this planet has fallen on its head before it was even heard of. They go up and vanish so quick that history is practically unable to keep track of them. I'll bet you just yesterday, just the other day, 1500 BC. You cannot tell me the primary civilization which was in existence. That's right, I thought you couldn't. You don't know what government was in power in Europe and the Middle East in 1500 BC. You see? Just that little tiny span of time. What is that, 3,500 years? You don't even remember. Temporary. Makeshift. Didn't understand. Nobody had ever been to school about org boards. Didn't know anything about it. Actually, there have been lots of schools about org boards. They didn't have Scientology, but they did have org boards. And there have been some of the wildest org boards that have ever been invented. Don't consider the United States Army has any org board. It doesn't. Armies don't have org boards. They have command charts. You want to see the picture of a suppressive person, look at an org board of a military organization. It goes commanding general, adjutants, officers, nobodies. Every place except the Mexican Army. And that has commanding generals. And that's all. It'll be like our city offices using this board for the first time. It'll look like Mexican Army. So everybody be top brass. 2 ranks of top brass.